What's up, everyone? Today's Patreon was supposed to be a recap and review of my trip to New York City yesterday for Ariana's book tour, but she got COVID. So that was a bummer. But good news, it's supposed to be rescheduled. So we will see if I can still go to the rescheduled date. I already booked a hotel that was non-refundable. So I moved the date and we'll either use it to go see Ariana in Chicago on Broadway or whenever she reschedules her book tour. Other good news, Ariana was on Watch What Happens Live last night. It was pre-recorded before she got COVID, although Andy was coughing a lot. So some people are speculating that maybe Andy has COVID too. But anyways, on Watch What Happens Live last night, she said only her and Katie drank alcohol in season 11, which was kind of shocking to me. And I just need to remind you all that I have never followed a show as closely as Vanderpump Rules during filming. So season 11 is going to feel really weird for me to watch because I was like hyper vigilant during the filming of that. So I recall, and I was talking to someone in DMs, I recall Schwartz drinking a beer or something when he was with Sandoval. Somebody, they were filming, somebody got them. And that was when Sandoval was like talking smack about Greg. So I don't know. I was surprised that she said only her and Katie drank. I don't see why Schwartz wouldn't drink. But anyways, okay. Also on Watch What Happens Live, Ariana said she's been living in an Airbnb, that she wants to sell the house and Tom does not want to. So Andy, of course, was like, oh, maybe Tom would buy you out. And she's like, well, then let's go. So what's going on there? I want to know. But of course, Tom Sandoval is refusing to sell or whatever. It's so annoying. But also, Ariana is not friends with Schwartz and she does not miss him. Andy asked her. All right. So for today's Patreon episode, I'm going to go through the Single AF Cocktails book. Make sure you go get your own. I'm not going to, read through it page by page, but I did read through the whole thing in one sitting. And it is a cocktail book, so it's not like strenuous reading. I don't have much attention span anyways, so this was actually perfect for me. She has 5 sections in the book that each has a number of cocktails in each section. The first one is the honeymoon phase. Then it goes into betrayal, devastation, resilience, and ad astra. So I did want to read, I'm just going to read like a couple parts and talk about them. So in the introduction, she says, I've been bartending since 2008, so making drinks has always been in my wheelhouse. When Tom and I were on the show together, it was also something that we did together. It's how we met and the reason why we wrote our first book, Fancy AF Cocktails. It was something people associated with our relationship, but bartending has always and will always remain my thing. That's why my breakup album is a book of cocktail recipes. This is me planting my flag in the ground, proving that I don't have to give up a part of myself just because we are no longer together. Okay. She also has a timeline. And this part is maybe controversial. So the timeline is interesting because, everyone speculated in the beginning of the relationship if Tom was still, with Kristen. And it doesn't even matter for me at this point if Kristen and him were together or if she knew or whatever. Like, I think that in the end, Ariana truly thought that Tom was gonna like treat her differently or whatever. All right, the honeymoon phase. You can see there's a lot of drinks in this. I don't drink alcohol, but it doesn't matter. So the first drink is In the Trenches. And they have good chemistry. At My Side. Okay. So this is where I was like, oh, this doesn't sound good. The night my dad passed away, I was at Sheena's apartment because I was coming out of a bad relationship and needed some time with my besties. I remember getting the call with the news and having a full-on meltdown. Sheena called him and told him what was going on, and he dropped everything to come be there at my side. He sat with me the whole night while I cried. In that moment, he really showed what a good friend he could be, and this drink brings me back to that place. I love Ariana. This part is yikes. Okay. She has a drink for Charlotte. Okay. This one, Coachella. I think you guys know how I feel about Coachella. It essentially is Tom Sandoval's predatory playground. And I wonder if Ariana sees Coachella in that way now. I guess not, because she said, she reminisced about one of their Coachellas together and how it was their first time going together and it was her second time ever going. Ugh, Coachella. I do like that this is the only drink where she adds in CBD though. She has a breakup mixtape, You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette. Since You've Been Gone, Toxic, You're Toxic. Hold Up, Beyonce. You've Done Enough. Traitor by Olivia Rodrigo. I'm Still Standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Heard It Through the Grapevine. I didn't know that was like a breakup song. I heard it through the grapevine. You can go your own way. And then How to Be a Heartbreaker. Solo sessions. This is the first mocktail made with cucumber, basil, mint, zero proof tequila, fresh lime juice, simple syrup, and club soda. I think I might try that one. Okay, this one, Little Sister Vibes. When I first met the woman he had the affair with, she was dating someone who was close with my brother. As our friends started to mingle more, I got to know her better. At first, she came across as timid and afraid to speak her mind, and I think there were people who wanted to ice her out or keep her away. I hated to see that, so Sheena and I took her under our wing. We introduced her to people, went dancing together, and even wore matching outfits on Halloween. We really embraced her as one of our own, like a little sister. Okay, next section. Betrayal. I feel like I have to go through each of these. So the first drink is midlife crisis. Essentially, Tom Sandoval is going through a midlife crisis. The next one is smoke and mirrors. This is where this is the drink where she tells about the night when they hosted a party and it was late. She stayed in the guest bedroom to avoid having to drive home. In the middle of the night, I woke up and couldn't find him anywhere. So I went downstairs and checked almost every single room. As I was walking down the hallway, I saw him leave the guest bedroom. He said he heard her walking around and just wanted to check if she needed water or anything. A part of me instinctively knew that wasn't the truth. I told him I believed him anyway, and we all know what came next. Couples therapy, they started going after the affair started. Warning signs. The first one is hilarious, starting a cover band. Oh boy. Oh, this one. Oh my gosh. So her family lives in Florida. His family lives in St. Louis. And there was always a challenge for them to figure out what to do. Since her grandmother passed away in September 2022, Ariana's mom came out to Los Angeles to be with them for Christmas. They had a special time going to dinner and fun bars, riding on gondolas and seeing the Christmas lights together. It meant so much to me after my grandmother's death. He then left on Christmas Eve to see his family while I stayed in LA with my mom. I found out later that he flew his affair partner out to his hometown to spend that time between Christmas and New Year's together. Watch what happens. This drink, this is where she talks about how on the premiere of season 10, Tom and Tom were on Watch What Happens Live. And she said, I noticed his friend was acting strange. I found out later that my ex's affair partner was in New York during that time. He had flown her out for the day and she was in his hotel room while the show filmed. To recall how I helped him pick out outfits for the trip and kissed him goodbye before he went to the airport is devastating. And this is the one where she has a lightning bolt as a garnish. All right. Oof. Explosion. That's when she found out. That's when the phone fell out of his pocket. Wrecking ball. He yelled at me all the time, getting mad whenever I questioned him. He was indignant and dismissive of the whole thing as if somehow this was unfair to him. Wow. He was the worst version of himself during this time, a wrecking ball to my life. And this drink is called Wrecking Ball. Revenge porn. This is where Ariana makes it very clear that even despite Raquel doing the most awful thing ever, Ariana would never spread that sex tape around. The next one, the funeral. She said there were probably 20 people at my house at one point, all offering me support. He was at her apartment at the time. And when he finally came back to the house, he started yelling at everybody to leave, angry that our friends were there for me, not him. He referred to it as a party at the time, but it wasn't a party. It was a funeral for our relationship. Ooh, rat poison. The next section is called Devastation. Oh, God, the real truth. About a month after everything came out, the real stories began to drip out little by little. Her following him around the country when he was touring with his cover band, him asking people to pay for things on their credit cards so the charges wouldn't show up on his bank statements. Each story was a cigarette burn on the life I once knew. Ooh, who knew? In this one, she mentions that some people knew about the affair before she did, and that some of them apologized to her, but she feels that nobody deserves the pressure of keeping a secret that isn't theirs. And it makes me upset that he put them in that position. Very forgiving. Rumors. Separate lives. Throughout our relationship, I truly believe that we were in it together, our lives deeply intertwined. We had always been in good communication, slept in the same bed together, and even when we were apart, it helped him do things like pick out an outfit for a trip. For him to make it seem like our breakup wasn't that bad because we lived separate lives is a painful form of justification for his actions. This drink represents how alone I actually was in our relationship despite being together. Sad. Double life. He was constantly showing me one person and sneaking off to be another person with her, whether it was during my grandmother's funeral, at a music festival with all of our friends, or a wedding in Mexico. Two-faced, man. The next drink is Jamie. This is when she found out that he took Jamie to the Mile High Club. And her father's name is James. So gross. Crocodile tears. The number of falsehoods that came to light after the affair was diabolical. The affair was not a one-time event, but a regular ongoing thing. She met his family over the holidays without my knowing. They hooked up in our house while I was out of town for my grandmother's funeral. Ugh, one of the absolute worst details. It goes on. Gaslight. He would turn it around on me, making me feel bad for even questioning him. I gave him plenty of opportunities to tell me the truth about the affair. I was being straight up lied to in those moments, and he would always go out of his way to try to make me feel like I was crazy for asking any questions in the first place. Wussy pussy, that's what Tom Sandoval is. Lack of remorse. Ever since he got caught having the affair, sometimes there are moments when it seems like he might feel bad about what he did, but they are fleeting. Instead, he chooses to say all sorts of terrible things about a relationship, doubling down on showing the world who he really was all along, the devil in my life. Snake in the grass. Oh, this one is about her. I have to admit, I definitely infantilized her and did not see her as capable of any of this wreckage, not only because of how she acted and who she was and what she looked like, but because she was so integrated into our friends group. Oh my gosh. I was there for her when she had her own problems with guys, including one she was seeing while she was with my boyfriend. Wow. Information booth. No woman should dumb herself down for anyone. Own your intelligence and power. Stranger in my life. Tears on your grave. Okay, next section. Resilience. Support system. She goes on to talk about how she's healing with rose quartz, catharsis, lemonade. She compares, this book to Beyonce's album Lemonade, which came about while she was dealing with betrayal and hardship in her own life. Dead weight. Oh, this one, dead weight. Right after the news of the affair broke, I went to Mexico for my friend's wedding. That first night, I had a cathartic conversation with some of my oldest friends. And when I got back to my hotel room, my Los Angeles neighbor texted me and asked if I could keep the music down at the house. I realized my ex was having a party while I was out of town. My friend went by the house the next day to check on my dog and cat and found my ex passed out on the couch, still in his clothes. In that moment, something finally shifted in me. I decided I would no longer let his behavior get me down. No saints, no angels. Revenge dress. I like this one. Turns out the best way to get revenge on an ex is to simply remind them of how you're a total firecracker, with or without them. So we have self-care, cold shoulder, in the spotlight. She wrote, at times it has been overwhelming to read everybody's comments, both positive and negative, but I read and replied to a lot of them anyway because I want people to know that I do pay attention and I appreciate all the signs of support. Ride or die. From the very beginning of our relationship, I prided myself on being his ride or die. Whatever I was going through, whatever he was going through, he was my end game, my life partner. I am the kind of person who will always be there for my partner. That quality may have left me vulnerable in this case, but it's something I don't want to lose in myself in the future, despite the devastation I've experienced. If I were to lose that all in part of my identity, it would make me a lesser version of myself. All right, last section, Ad Astra. What doesn't kill me? Better get out of the way. Gratitude. Oaxacan flame. So this drink is a tribute to Dan, who we found out last night on Watch What Happens Live. They've made it official. They are like boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever. Tommy is my boyfriend. She has this one section called Thrive. So in this, she says, sometimes the media paints singles as desperate and lonely, but there is so much power to be found in being your own best partner. True. Here are 10 reasons you can enjoy being single and you'll find yourself thriving, not just surviving. Time to focus on your own growth and self-worth. No more choosing between families during the holidays. Having the bandwidth to prioritize your career if you want. Spontaneity. You don't have to run every decision by your significant other. 100% of your social attention can go towards your friendships. It's more fun to flirt with no strings attached. The house can stay as clean or as messy as you desire. You get to pick what to watch for movie night every night. Next is New York. So I didn't know that Ariana lived in New York City before she moved to LA, but this drink is a metaphor for Dan. I don't know how I feel about Dan. Like, I feel like Dan is really good for her right now because she probably needs someone like him, but I don't know if that is her end game. Breadwinner. This one I like, where she wrote, I deserve good things, but I didn't see that in myself for so long. Well, you do, girl. You deserve everything. My last word. My ex is one of those men who is always determined to have the last word in every argument. He'd be so upset if I didn't admit I was wrong, even when I knew I was right. What's his problem? Cover girl. She got the cover of Glamour. Life is Beautiful. Life is Beautiful is another mocktail, and I definitely want to try this one too. She has the ingredients are Seedlip Garden. What's that? So Seedlip Garden is a fresh herbal blend of peas and traditional garden herbs, including rosemary, thyme, and spearmint. Okay, so this is like a replacement for gin, I guess. So this recipe, Life is Beautiful, has this replacement for gin, fresh lemon juice, rosemary syrup, ice cubes, alcohol-free sparkling wine to top, fresh rosemary sprig to garnish, lemon wheel to garnish. This one sounds really good, actually. I think I want to try this one. Okay, and we ride at dawn. So this one is okay. So this is a mezcal drink, and she says this cocktail is a battle cry for anyone who might be going through similar tough times. So that's it. That's the book. Drinks for Bad Bitches. Oh my God. Holy shit. Okay. Drinks for Bad Bitches. Go get yours. Oh, I want to know how long we think Dan and Ariana will stay together. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for being here and supporting me through Patreon. Make sure you stay tuned for more Patreon episodes with bonus content outside of the weekly Bravo TV lineup that we go through on Bravo and Blaze with Jenny Blaze. Drop a note or DM me to let me know what topics you want to cover. And I hope you all have an amazing week. Stay lit.